Around the Ozarks is now on your FM radio. Listen to Around the Ozarks mornings with Grace Gooley as I spotlight local people, stories, and podcasts, all while playing the country legends of the 90s and the hit makers of the 2000s. It's on the Ozarks Best Country, 105.1 The Bull.
Hi, this is Joy Robertson. As many of you know, I love food. I love finding new restaurants. I love trying new dishes. And most of all, I love talking to the many great restaurateurs and entrepreneurs we have here in the Ozarks and beyond. I love hearing their stories, and that's what this podcast is all about, learning more about them and their journey. So join me as we savor the Ozarks. This episode is brought to you by Jim's Steakhouse and Pub, Kitchenland USA, and Springfield's locally owned Fazoli's. I've been doing Savor the Ozarks for over a year, and this is the first time I have had a caterer on. You know Patti Wingo from Simply Delicious Catering. She's been around the Ozarks for a good long time, and interestingly, on the day that we are recording this, Patti, is an anniversary for you. Tell us about it.
Today is 26 years for me, April 1st, yeah. So April Fool's Day. I don't know if that made me smart or not, but yes, this is 26 years of a lot of great events.
Congratulations on 26 years. Okay, back it up. Back it up to 26 plus years ago. What were you doing then, and what led you to go into catering?
I was a paralegal during the day, and then I really enjoyed it, but it was kind of depressing. You know, everybody who came in injured, lost their job, whatever had happened. And so I just was always passionate about food. I loved to serve people. I would have people at our home, and everybody kept telling me, you should really go into food service. Like, you could make money at that. And I was like, not sure. So I started out as a personal chef. So I'd work all day, and then I'd go into private homes, and I would grocery shop for them. And, a lot of times it was for older, children that might live out of state, and I was cooking for their parents who might have had, say, diabetes. So I was making sure, they were good meals for them, freezing them, grocery shopping. It didn't require a commercial kitchen. It didn't require a business license at the time, and I could do it on my own time. And that's how it started. And then more and more people, it kind of snowballed, and more people wanted my services, and I realized I needed a kitchen. And that's when I landed where I'm at now.
Did you have any official culinary training?
No, I did a culinary, some classes at Disney, but they were more fun than really, and you got to tour the restaurants, and you worked a shift and did some things like that, but mostly self-taught. Just been doing it a long time, passionate about a lot of different foods. Grew up in kind of a Middle Eastern community in Ohio, so I had a lot of Middle Eastern flavor profiles that I really liked, and just really enjoyed it.
Do you remember your first time really getting in the kitchen? Was it a parent, a grandparent? What do you remember?
My mom wasn't a great cook. My dad loved to cook, but didn't do it very often. He definitely thought it was a woman's job. And so he would do Christmas, maybe every other year or something, and we'd have a saffron risotto, beef tenderloin, some mushroom risotto. He really did some cool things. So really passionate about that. And then it turns out on that same side of the family, I have 4 other cousins that are also in the culinary world. So I think it's just kind of that side of the family. We really enjoyed it. And then I would always make the meals. I was the first one home, and I was at 13. I was making the dinners for the family, decorating the plates, looking at the big, funny table, big cookbooks. They were huge back then, looking at all the photos and dipping grapes in egg whites and sugar. I mean, I was so silly at 13, but it's just I've been that passionate about it for that long, so.
Okay, you had it in you, but my goodness, growing up with food like that, your dad would put in front of you and the family, you must not have been a picky eater, because a lot of kids, I fear, don't get a broad sort of palate, because they just are kind of sheltered in what they eat. You got some great food.
I really did. But I would find, though, too, that in doing tastings now, where sometimes my bride and groom already have a child, or they're bringing siblings with them to the tastings, that those kids they've been eating sushi. But I would say 26 years ago, true. Now, I feel like Food Network, a lot of the different things that are out there in social media, and just the food drive, and especially in this community, there's so many different neat things that they really are more open-minded now. But back then, I would agree. I just was lucky enough to have somebody like that in my life.
Wow. All right. That answers a lot of questions for me. That's great. And I bet your dad was just an amazing cook. Are your mom and dad still around?
My mom just moved in with us. She's 88. She moved in at Thanksgiving, and so we're full-time care for her. And my dad passed from cancer about 23 years ago.
Okay. I'm sorry to hear that, but I know both of them were very proud of you, but my goodness, your dad would be flipping out right now, right?
I would totally agree. He would be like, I'll be your taste tester. Yeah.
I want on that list, by the way. You mentioned that you do tastings, and if you ever do in-house tastings and want somebody that's literally an idiot like myself, like, I just want food, I'll tell you what I think about it. But I mean, you do some amazing stuff. So over 25 years, so amazing. I was looking at your Facebook earlier, and I think you were celebrating actually your 25th. So it was probably a year ago that you posted. And you said, I've learned over the years from some mistakes I've made. And of course, we all do that. But what are some things that you've learned over the years?
I think not overpromising. Level of service. I think, when somebody meets me, I tell them for the tasting, for example, it's not only the quantity and quality of our food, but that level of service. And then I try to reiterate that into my staff. But we still make mistakes. Like, we're testing in the kitchen constantly. If I stop learning, then I stop growing. So I'm not going to say we're perfect, but at the same time, I feel like we've just come a long way. Like, we color code all of our events with colored duct tape. So you walk into the walk-in, everything that's purple duct tape all goes to that event. Like, so, before you might have missed the salad because there were 6 other salads in there, things like that. So we've come up with a color coding system. We have a good timeline. I've got a great front of the house staff. I have a phenomenal general manager. Learning the correct people in the right place is huge. And you have to be a good problem solver.
I would imagine that you do. I mean, you've got clients going all directions, and you've got, and a lot of these clients are having a huge live event, a wedding, things like that where there's some emotion going on and happiness, but it's also, it's the big show day, if you will, showtime. And so it has to be something you want to get right. I mean, of course you do. How many employees do you have?
Currently about 25, but our season's just about to pick up, so that will increase. But we do mobile bar service, catering service, and then we have a full commercial bakery as well.
Golly, I didn't realize you had all that. Mm-hmm. So you have 20 some, what did you say, 25-ish, 23 employees. Mm-hmm. Do you also have a list of people, like part-timers, that you can call in? Like, in other words, if you have an event pop up, I would imagine you would have to.
Absolutely. And then a lot of the parents of my staff have become good friends, and even my own husband will jump in to plate meals in the back, things like that. Everybody just helps. It's really cool. We have layer upon layer of people that will help us, because we've done, I think, like the largest event was 3,200. Oh, and you can't, so you just have to be ready, but you can't employ all those people year round. It's just for those specific events. That
fascinates me. That makes my head hurt a little bit. 3,200. I say, in all honesty, it's a miracle if I can get dinner on the table for my husband and I, and it's warm, and there's 2 plates, right? Yeah. I mean, I will never understand how people like you do it. But because back in the day, you cooked for your family, and then you cooked for some like private families, and you would do the shopping and the cooking. Jumping from that to catering an event, had you done some catering here and there for some of these families and realized what it means to cook for 25 or 50, or you're shaking your head no?
No, I really didn't. What happened was one of the ladies that lived in Highland Springs, I was doing personal chefing for them, for the family, and then they're like, oh, we're going to have 100 of our closest friends in a couple weeks. We'd love for you to cook for that. And clearly I couldn't do it in their kitchen. And so that's where I got here. And then I've got, business license and permitted by the health department, do all the right things. And then I've got trucks coming in now wholesale instead of paying retail, all those things that I was doing. And that is really what drove the kind of domino effect. And again, trial and error. I mean, I still make some of the exact same recipes because they're just, people know them and they want them and they love them. And then I'm putting up new recipes to try for a tasting this weekend, right? So we're just constantly ebbing and flowing with the food trends, people's dietary needs are huge right now. Gluten-free, dairy-free, vegan, vegetarian, and alpha-gal are huge. Yes. So that is creating new things and new factors for us that we have to worry about, like cross-contamination. So it never stops moving or changing. And then COVID was a whole nother thing. Like, it's just been a really interesting 5 or 6 years.
I was going to ask you about the dietary needs because alpha-gal is such a big thing. More and more people are figuring out what's been wrong with them all this time. Yeah. How has your menu changed and evolved over the years?
Yeah, I think I was way more simple, basic, hitting the marks. But I also think people's palates kind of were that way. But then again, Food Network started showing them all these things that they could do. You've got these road shows where people are traveling into restaurants and showing you behind the scenes. And people are like, I want that, Or they'll tell me, I went to a restaurant in Florida. I had such and such dish. Can you recreate that? And then I go and do some deep dive. And we just keep trying it to make it ours. I don't want to imitate anything anybody's doing, but I want to make it simply delicious also. So we always say we're never going to mimic, like if somebody shows me a cake photo, I don't want to do what another baker did. But at the same time, I want to make sure that it's, got our touch on it too.
I would imagine you really like that when someone comes to you and brings you a dish, or maybe you have something when you're traveling or something that inspires you. Because I think people like you and me and those of us who are listening right now who really love food can get crazy inspired by even a photo of something that you see, and it kind of makes you want to either go try it there or try it at home. So it has to probably be the same for you.
I would totally agree. I could talk about food for 24 hours without taking a breath. Every time I travel, I want to eat and drink all over the place. I don't want to, it's lovely for somebody to cook for me, but at the same time, I want local fare, fresh fish, whatever the case may be. I love trying, chefs that are well known and try different restaurants. I did a big tour with my daughter in DC. That was super cool. I went to a bunch of great restaurants. I've never been to a Michelin restaurant, but that's on my bucket list, a Michelin star restaurant. But yeah, I could eat my way through any town in travel. And it also gives me incentive and ideas, creativity. But I've always been like, if I saw like a vase that was scalloped in a home goods store, I'd be like, that'd be really cool on its side, cascading out with chips, right? Mm-hmm. Like I think of things, but that's how my brain works. So I'm the same way with food. Could we do it this way? Could we plate it that way? Could we show it this way? Can we deconstruct it? Just things like that. But that's kind of how I think. Yeah.
Is there one Michelin star restaurant? If I said pick one, we're going to go right now. Is there one you would pick?
I don't think so. I think any big city, anyone I'd be lucky to walk into, I'd be grateful. I think it's just such a cool experience. I've had good friends that have gone to them and told me of their experience, show me pictures, things that are blown into bubbles, just like all these like textures and flavors. But that'll be something that I really look forward to when I get a chance.
You mentioned the bubbles. Yeah. Alinea, Chicago. I've never been, but one of these days I'm going to do it. I swear I'm going to do it. So cool. And French Laundry, of course, would be fabulous.
Yeah, I have that cookbook. It's autographed.
Oh my goodness! He's at NRA, National Restaurant Show, all the time, and I have not met him yet. Maybe if he's there, I'll find him this year. Wow, you have to cherish that.
Yeah. Oh, I do. I actually have. My mom had a Duncan Hines cookbook as signed by her, and I know it's this little paperback, yellow, old. So I have some really unique books too. I'm a cookbookaholic. I absolutely could, I'd rather read that than a book. And so I probably have over 1,000 cookbooks. I just really enjoy reading them and looking through them for ideas. Yeah.
Well, maybe Thomas Keller will be at the show this year. I would absolutely love that.
You better get a photo.
I would love to get a photo. I'd love to get an interview. I'll go home and see if I can find out if he's going to be there. But I've had a certain degree of luck meeting some chefs there and interviewing them. And I've had some on the podcast. Rick Bayless came on with me last year. Cool. He was great. He was super. And there are some other people that I would love to have on as well. But the beauty of this podcast is meeting people like you, Patti, that we all know. We all know Patti Wingo, Simply Delicious, great food. I've had that at so many events, but they don't know anything about you. Yeah. And that's what I love digging into. But I love hearing your passion. I could read cookbooks all day, but I could also read restaurant menus for the rest of my life and sit and look at menus. Are you the same way?
Absolutely. When we had the fork and spoon here on this, we had like a little lunch spot here for a few years. Just even designing that menu was fun. The colors, the graphics. I got into all of that. I just really enjoyed the whole process, logos, all those things. So I really like from down in the dirt and building it up. I think it's a lot of fun, and I have a lot of passionate people on my team that are the same way. And how lucky am I to collaborate with them on an everyday basis and have their support, and they make me look good every day.
It matters to have a good team, a good, responsible team. You mentioned you've been here. Tell our audience where here is. Where are you located?
I'm really fortunate. The Knights of Columbus own a facility called the Diamond Room. It's a banquet facility that holds about 350 people. It's got a lounge area for like rehearsal dinners, and then we do big banquets and corporate events on the banquet side. And then we also travel. So all of our catering is done from this kitchen, and this is where we're licensed. And then we travel like a 60-mile radius. So I'm located here in Springfield. And we do all of our tastings here, and then everybody gets to meet us and do our brainstormings and things like that here.
Okay, this is a really nice place, and you do have your kitchen here, but you also have room to do events here. And I know you've got an Easter, I believe, brunch coming up, Mother's Day. How often do you do those special events?
Yeah, so Easter and Mother's Day have always been really successful. So those are the two that we really count on every year. And then, we book a lot of Christmas parties here, so there's really not time to offer. At one point, after COVID, we offered a market where you could come in and pick up ready-made food. We did that for 100 weeks, and then catering started to pick back up. So that's what kept us alive during COVID, was people coming in, picking up ready-made meals. And then we're also doing a fitness line for AYB, which is Achieving Your Best. It's a local gym. So we're doing a fitness meal with all the macros and the nutrients, and that's every Monday. We deliver those fresh meals to them. And then, that's kind of how we kind of pivot, it's kind of that, that's kind of a catchphrase anymore, but I just kind of try to go with what needs to be, where's the next source, and how to keep my staff innovative, involved, and have ownership.
What sort of things do you put on like a holiday brunch menu? What are the favorites?
Oh my gosh, creme brulee French toast for sure. That's on the breakfast side of the menu. So they get about 5 or 6 different menu options, like buffet options. So it starts out with a traditional breakfast with that creme brulee French toast, biscuits and gravy, all those goodness. Then we go into all kinds of cool salads, and we kind of try to look at like the trends, like the carrot salad and with whipped tahini, and just doing some cool stuff there. Then we go into entrees and starches and sides. And then a beautiful dessert buffet. I don't know if you remember Vic Pace was at the Tower Club for years as a pastry chef, and he has been working for us since he retired from the Tower Club a few years ago. And so I have Vic Pace as a pastry chef, and then I've got Hannah is also a baker for us. And so we also do tons of beautiful desserts as well.
You get rave reviews online, and you made me think of something just then. I believe it was my friend Lisa Alexander posted something about, I don't have my phone near me, but she said something about, wow, you really hit it out of the park this time. And she talked a little bit about the menu, but then she said something about late night snacks that you had done for some event, and that sparked my interest. What do you mean by late nights? I mean, I know what I think of when I think of a late night snack, but when in the catering world, who does that serve?
Yeah, I really call it drunk food. I'm going to be honest, right?
Okay,
so
makes a difference.
Okay, right. So at 10 o'clock, everybody needs a little something before they head out. It's not usually for your full head count. So Lisa was referring to her daughter's wedding that I did for her in Blue Eye last year. And we had a very specific menu, bride and groom, very big foodies. They loved it. They came in, did a free tasting, and then they had a recipe for a truffle popcorn. So we did a truffle popcorn for them, and then we bagged it, and then we came up, Haley's my general manager, and she made a beautiful label for the bag, and so we bagged it and had it all ready. So then it was brought out, with a couple other we did warm pretzels, but we have sliders, we do walking taco bars, we do all kinds. And again, we start with the client, see what their favorites are. It could be sliders, it could be, but just depends on their, again, dietary needs, favorite foods, budget, all those things play a factor. But people really love that. It's a lot of fun.
Oh, what a great idea, though. You think about that. You go to a wedding and maybe you go to the ceremony, you have dinner, dancing, everybody's having a good time, but then they're a couple of hours, they need a little refuel. So it sounds like that's exactly what you're getting at.
Absolutely. And we want them to have something on the road, so they've got something back in their stomach by then if they've been drinking a little bit. And it's really successful. And again, if you had like 200 guests, most people do it for like, say, 60. That's your closest friends and family at that point that are ready for a little bite. And it's really cool.
Tell me about the pretzels, and not that I was eavesdropping, but when I came in, someone was leaving, and I take it maybe that was someone here for a tasting, and I heard you mention pretzels, and I'm glad you did, because so you do, everybody loves a good soft, yummy pretzel. That's what you're talking about?
Absolutely. So we make them with like the big, huge ones where you can like share with your significant other. And then usually like we'll have, different, like a grainy mustard, a honey mustard, a warm queso, like different things that they can dip it in. And then the particular thing you heard us talking about is we have this phenomenal jalapeno popper dip, and we serve it with a warm pretzel breadstick. And we're starting to do it for a local pottery location here in town, where we're going to prepackage for them their dip and the pretzels, and then they'll just pull it out as they need it, and then serve the people that are painting pottery. And so we're just starting that line. That's another little thing that we're working on now. Yeah.
You must have a heck of a walk-in back there to accommodate. Is it just like an apartment?
We've got two. They're pretty good size. One is for all of the mobile bar and the bakery, and then one serves the food. It's got all the savory items. And then we've got a 3-door reach-in freezer, and then we've got another freezer at the building behind us, so a walk-in freezer. So yeah, we keep them full. Sometimes it's so busy that we can't get the trucks in order to get the food that's about to go out. So that's like Christmas time. It's just bonkers. But we say super organized, color-coded, and that's how we make it work.
Do you ever cry or yell in the walk-in?
I'm not one of those. It takes a lot to push my buttons. I'm really pretty laid back. I don't throw things. If you hear my voice, you've pushed a button too far. Yeah, so I'm usually pretty good. I tend to have. I always have counselor written on my forehead. You're juggling a lot of emotions. People have a lot of stuff going on in their lives, and but really for the most part, we just all dig in, help each other. We're with each other more than we're with our families, really. So we're like another family.
What is it? I mean, you had to know going into this that your weekends were going to be pretty booked, like always, like all day and way, way, way into the night and maybe the next day. You must be okay with that.
Yeah. Every night, holiday, and weekend is when I hire somebody. I said, are you ready to be away from your family every night, holiday, and weekend? And if you are, then you're a good fit for us. And then if not, then we probably shouldn't do this. My husband is incredibly patient. He's a huge cheerleader to me for everything that I do. He supports everything I do. He may not always like it, and miss me, right? But he'll come and work an event, but he knows what I'm trying to do. He knows my passion. He knows the brand I've tried to build and what I'm trying to offer the community.
How long have you been married?
We will be married. You're going to put me on the spot. We got married in 2009. So yeah. So he's amazing. And so he's really great. He's in the produce field. So he's a produce director. So it's always really cool to talk about the trends and what's going on in the different, if there's flooding somewhere and hey, just so you know, you're not going to have strawberries or you're not going to have lettuce or, this is happening, that's happening. So we talk a lot of shop.
I was going to ask you about food trends. That's one thing I love about the restaurant shows is to see the presentations, but even try the flavors that are kind of bubbling up. And, last year, everything was a dirty soda. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And now you see dirty sodas everywhere, and they're fun, But what are some trends you're keeping your eyes on?
What I've always watched is East and West Coast, because I feel like it kind of rolls to the Midwest maybe 3 years later. Like it really does take a little while to get to us. Mm-hmm. So that's where I'm at. I'm kind of always watching what's going on in those different sections. I remember one time, like one of my very first weddings, a woman had come in to me and said, I was just in Savannah, and they had a mashed potato mac and cheese bar, and they served it in a martini. Okay, I said, perfect, I can make that happen. I made that happen. Before you know it, 5 other people are doing it, right? And then there was a barbecue sundae. So layered up in a mason jar was baked beans, brisket, coleslaw, and a dill pickle coming out of the top. I called it a barbecue sundae. Boom. five more people are doing it here locally. It's like, so you're just kind of watching, what's happening in the different areas. But I definitely think a lot of the same things, food does change, but really every 3 or 4 years. We always attend a show called Cater Source about every 3 to 5 years. And it's caterers from all over the world, really. I've met people from Germany and France, but, New York City, Chicago, they're not your competition. They're willing to talk to you about trends, what they're doing. They'll share a recipe where I couldn't call somebody here locally, I feel like, and maybe have that same open dialogue. So it's really cool. The last one we went to was on Austin. So a lot of the barbecue profile and a lot of cool, flavors from there. Went to lots of great, we just ate so much great food, and took 5 of my main team members, and just trying to educate and have them see other people and what they're doing and see plate ups. And it was super cool.
You mentioned the mashed potatoes and mac and cheese bar in the Martini Glass. Did you do one of those at Elfindale one year?
I sure did. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to have to tell my daughter it's your fault.
Yeah.
So my mom and dad were both at Elfindale, and we go over there for their Christmas party, I think it was, and our culinary daughter, there's a picture of her laying on the floor of my mother's room at Elfindale. And Audrey was like, I'm going to die. I'm going to die. This is it. She loved the mashed potato bar. She never forgot it. So AJ, I found the source of your misery and your love, because she absolutely loved. That's so funny. So that you're to blame for that. Good for you.
Yeah, isn't that funny? But I think it's a compliment. I feel like if people are watching what you're doing and they're trying to come up with, but I think just different twists, like we're pickling all of our own items. We're working on constantly, like even just down to a snack mix on a charcuterie, different things like that. And then I've also had a lot of people who have come and worked for us that bring their own, I've never worked in a restaurant. Okay. So then I've had people that have had a lot of restaurant experience, and they bring the good and the bad with them, but then they show me things, right? And then they move on to the next thing. And some of those things stay with us, right? So it's really interesting to have all of the different personalities that I've had over the years, because they've really helped me create what I have. I never just say it's never me. It's not just me. It's a collaborative effort of all of these personalities, ages, work histories. I had a barbecue guy. I've had a lot of restaurant people. It's really cool.
When you're responsible for feeding a group, you want it to be simple. And, of course, you want everyone to love it. Fazoli's Catering makes it easy with baked pastas, pizza, fresh salad, and our famous signature garlic breadsticks. It's a great fit for any size office lunch, meeting, family gathering, team meal, or any occasion. Find the menu and order online at Fazoli's.com.
Fast, fresh, Italian, Fazoli's.
Some people check the weather. Others check our soup of the day. Hi, this is Jim with Jim's Steakhouse and Pub. Our soup of the day changes, but the comfort never does. Just check with your server, because nothing takes the edge off a cold day like whatever's simmering at Jim's.
When you walk through those legendary doors, you're gonna find there's so much to love. So do yourself a favor, dig that service and flavor. Jim's Steakhouse and Pub.
Have you heard the news? Kitchenland USA in Nixa has expanded with a new 2,000 square foot addition. Now they're fully dedicated to your kitchen and bath projects from start to finish, and it's all under one roof. Stop by the new showroom to see and touch the newest sinks, tubs, walk-in showers, faucets, lighting displays, tile, and flooring, all in one showroom.
Kitchenland USA, newly expanded kitchen and bath showroom in Nixa, where your vision is our mission.
Cool.
Yeah. Is there any kind of a dish or a presentation or something that you haven't done that you want to do?
We don't do a lot of Indian food. I
love Indian food.
I love Indian food. We have a butter chicken that's phenomenal, but really that's about the level of spice I feel like a group would accept. So I haven't done a lot of Indian food. I'm not sure I really want to go down that road, but a Middle Eastern, Mediterranean, Asian barbecue. We smoke all of our own meats. We do a lot of different really cool. We do Italian. We really do a lot of cool stuff already, but I'm always open to something new, something different. Even the vessel it comes in can change a dish. Because people eat with their eyes first. So I think that's really cool.
And you provide full service. I read somewhere on your page you said something about, I don't want the wedding party or the family to have to really do a darn thing. So when you go over there with your food, you've got the plates, the utensils, the cleanup crew, the whole 9 yards.
That's right. Plating team, we serve the buffet, we bus and clear, we cut and serve the cake at no cost. We provide tea and water. Like I know, I try to treat anybody walking in the door like family, and I don't want that family working this event. It's the fastest 8 hours of your life. You've planned it maybe for an entire year or 18 months. It goes so fast, and I think you'll regret it if you don't just enjoy the time with your child. Yeah.
That's a good philosophy to have, because there's just so much going on days like that, Do you have any funny stories? Can you think of anything that went or almost went completely haywire? That would be so much fun for those of us who didn't have to deal with it to hear.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So one of my favorite stories, when I used to, I catered out for a family in Willard. And back when I first started, like Martha Stewart was really big back then. Okay? All of her books were coming out. She was really popular. So I had a wedding of a mom, mother of the bride. It was in their backyard. And everything was, it was the butterflies in the nets. It was the cake under the big netting outside, the whole 9 yards. So the idea was we were going to come into the home, stage in the dining room, and then all the food service would be outside. So we're staging in this dining room, and I get there though, and the cake is in layers on the table. And I said to somebody, I can't find the mom yet, and I said, oh, hey, we were going to stage in this area. Can I put the cake somewhere? And they said, well, funny story. The parents of the groom brought their Jack Russell Terrier. He got up on the dining room table, and he ate parts of the cake. So here we've got this mom who wants everything to be Martha Stewart perfect, and we got to layer this cake and put it outside under this net, and I look at the back of these layers, and it is eaten. And so I said, okay, well, I'm not touching this. I don't want to be responsible for this. So family took it outside, layered it up, put a ton of white roses all over it, and then they tried to give us all parts of the cake. They asked us if we'd like a slice of cake, and my whole team was like, no, thank you. But I don't know if she ever found out. But that Jack Russell Terrier had gotten up on the dining room table and eaten part of the cake. So I have a lot of funny things, kind of like that, things that are out of our control, but yeah, that one will never. And then, a lot of things were mishapping. They got the butterflies in the nets, and they went to let the butterflies out. A lot of them had passed. They were dead. So it was just layers. That day was just a very big challenge for them. Yeah.
I'm sure it was a lovely event, but I think sometimes you might bog down in some of these little things. But, I'm just kind of one that would love that Jack Russell story. I think I would cut away the edges, as I'm sure they did, spin it around to the back, or maybe spin it around to the front, put a cute little picture of the dog, and say, we cut off the weird parts, but, Fido helped himself to this cake before. That is very funny.
Yeah. Things just can't be perfect. I try to tell them, just enjoy. Yeah. Let it go. No one's going to remember if the candle was gold or, there was a salt and pepper shaker on the table. It's the day. It's the, the commitment. I try to really encourage them, have a rain plan. Don't let the rain, bum you out for the day. Like, people feed off how the bride's doing all day long. And, I just try to give the best foot forward, best advice. I always say I'm no coordinator by any means. We've got great ones here in town. But, try to give them some advice based on the location or the number of guests or things like that.
I was going to ask about the rain issue. I mean, you have to have your eye on the weather all the time for these events that are outside or partly outside.
Yeah, there was a few, it's probably been 10 years now, but there was like the first Saturday in May we had snow. I had 5 outdoor weddings that day, and I literally felt like I'm putting my phone up, and I'm like, don't worry, it's going to be okay, it's going to melt, like we're going to, by the time we do food service, I'd hang up the phone, the other bride would call, and it was just like that all day, just trying to, like I said, just try to tell them, we've got this, we've got a backup plan, we know what we're doing, we've been in rain, like torrential rain, out in outdoor. We do a lot of outdoor weddings at people's private homes under tents with all white linens. And there's just so much, like I remember bistro tables were falling over, because it was so wet. And we're calling back here and saying, send cardboard so we could try to help, get stuff under the grass. The seat, yeah. But they had literally built that home for them to have the wedding on that property. And there was no going back. Like, that was the plan, And so you just have to evolve with it and just keep problem. That's why I said I think my best strength, my biggest strength is problem solving.
I could listen to these all day. What's another one you've had to deal with? Like, I'm sure what's the weirdest place you ever did one? I mean, have you done one on a boat? Have you done one on I don't know. I'm just wondering, is there anything really, truly unusual?
No boat. I did do one in a private home for a big family here in town, and Kevin Costner was there, and I handed him a drink. I didn't get to talk to him or anything, but I thought that was super cool. Yeah. I've done, we do jets, so we do so the airline or the airport will call us in for some of the private jets, so we've done some cool stuff for them. J-Lo was somehow, for some reason, was coming through Branson, and we did beef tenderloin for her, and I've done some for Brad Pitt, and but I haven't met any of them. But that's just kind of a cool experience. Kevin Costner actually met, but I thought that was cool. I've done some really unique higher end homes, but I can't share all that. Sure. But it's a cool experience. Yeah.
Wow, that is a cool experience. What is your favorite food? What do you like to eat?
I love everything, to be honest. I know I'm a big snacker, so all the appetite. So everything you see on my menu has meaning to me. I love root beer, so we have a root beer barbecue. I love sauce. I love to snack. I grew up, that's how we kind of always had not happy hour by any means as kids, but small bites and, cucumber canopies. From something we used to, when we decorated the Christmas tree as kids together, my mom made these cucumber sandwiches, and they are still on my menu today. I like those touches, but I also like when a client brings in those touches to me, why the food has meaning to them, or a background or history, favorite restaurant, culture. We've done Middle Eastern, we've done Romanian, we've done a lot of different cool Korean, a lot of different Asian here in town. I've just done a lot of cool stuff. People have really believed in me to provide their family with that heritage, their food. A lot of Hispanic. Yeah, it's been really cool.
Is there anything you don't eat? Anything you don't like?
I don't like beets, liver.
I don't either.
Yeah, I know.
Now, if you put goat cheese on them, that's kind of different, but they're just not, they taste like dirt to me.
Yeah, I get it. I've tried them cooked, pickled, all kinds of ways. I just actually brought my mom some home yesterday. She loves them. But I'm really not picky. I'll eat just about anything, and I love components. So, if family comes over, it's a whole Mexican spread, and you've got all the different components. You can make a bowl, you can make a salad, you can make a nacho, that's how I like to eat. I don't just really want a protein, a vegetable, and a starch on my dinner plate. So we eat kind of weird at home. But I do a lot of food prep there too, just because I don't want to think about dinner for 3 after cooking for 300, say, in a day. So I meal prep all day Sunday, so that we have meals for the week, and I don't have to think about it at the end of the day.
When you go out to eat around here, where do you like to go?
Oh my gosh, I love Retro Metro. I love Metro, Avanzare. I'll eat anywhere. I love Mexican. Senor Julian.
Senor Julian.
Senor Julian's is amazing. Pizza. I probably love Eris's pizza. I'll eat everything. I really do. I like a lot of different food, and it's just whatever I'm in the mood for. And we'll go, it doesn't have to be a special occasion for us. We'll go wherever, whenever, but we cook mostly at home.
Are you, I don't know what made me ask this, other than you mentioned you like anywhere. Sometimes my husband will say, let's go somewhere. Where do you want to go? And then I start stressing because I don't know, and I want to hit it. I try to go, I've thought of 10 different places I want to go. Do you do that?
Yeah. I think our go-to, what we call our happy place is Galloway down in Galloway for a burger. I just think hands down for a burger. So if we're just not stuck, but we're like, well, we haven't, what do you want to do? Galloway. We'll go see Ann. Yeah. I know. We absolutely just love a good burger. But yeah, it is sometimes I tell my mom I have kitchen burnout. She's like, how can you not have an idea for dinner when we have 1,000 cookbooks in the house, right? She doesn't get it. And I'm like, it's not just that, it's just, I've had it all. Yeah. I've done a lot. I've been thinking about 17 other people's menus today. And so now I need to think about us, right? So that's why I think food prep for me is the key. It keeps us successful through the week and not wasting food, and then also not eating out a lot.
Food prep does go a long way, but I completely see what you're saying. At some point, you're like, somebody else has got to do this. I don't even want to think about it.
That's right.
I just want to sit down and eat. Okay, you mentioned snacks. Sweet or salty?
Oh my gosh, both. I have a huge sweet tooth, but typically I tend to go salty probably. Yeah. And like my sister-in-law's a great cook and my brother. And so like I was just visiting them not too long ago and she has a couple cookbooks that they put out there. They don't live here. But they've got a lot of great recipes. So I kept saying, well, what do you do for this? And she's like, oh, it's in book number 3. Like you need to go get that, broken pretzel recipe. And I love just, and I could just talk food all the time. That's the problem. But I love to bake. I don't bake commercially like these guys. Like I could bake a cake. I just can't decorate it. But I do. Some of the recipes on the bakery side are still some of my original bakery items that we make: graham cracker toffee bars, gourmet cookie bars that have a homemade caramel in the middle. A lot of cool little things like that. But then these guys take my recipes and they just knock them out of the water. I mean, they kill it. Our desserts are amazing. Yeah.
I'm a salty snacker, but I will say this, when you get sweet and salty together, that's when the risk of really overeating comes in because I just want to go back and forth from one to the other.
Yeah, our graham cracker toffee bars are kind of like a toffee, but they're a little salty, and I could eat a gallon bag of them. I mean, they're delicious, but I'm always snacking. That's how I probably eat more that way, snacking small bites. I'm going to have a container of blackberries on my desk, things like that. That's kind of how I eat, so.
Do you have any pet peeves, in terms of food, like an overcooked steak or like the ahi tuna that's cooked too long or little things like that you just go, oh no, don't do that?
Yeah, I mean, you want to get what you paid for sure. But I also understand kitchens, right? So I know somebody could have an off day. I know that the product might have not been the best or what have you. So I'm pretty flexible. I think because I didn't grow up in a kitchen where you're kind of almost beaten down a little bit and then built back up, I don't have that kind of ego. I just know I'm not perfect and I constantly try to improve. So I don't think I've ever turned down a meal or complained at a restaurant or sent a meal back. It's just not who I am.
I think it would have to be really out there for me to bring something up. I'm kind of a get-along person like that too, but I love eating out and trying new food so much. What's your favorite food city? Do you have a favorite city for food?
I have a daughter in D.C. I have a daughter in Hawaii, so how lucky am I? So both of those are phenomenal, right? And then grew up in Chicago, and so those are probably my 3 favorites. D.C., I was really intrigued by the quality, the food scene. I love oysters. One of my favorite places in St. Louis is Broadway Oyster. They have 13 different oysters on the menu, and most of it's a lot of it's Cajun. The other dishes are Cajun. Cajun's I love New Orleans. So those are kind of some of probably my 4 favorite things to do. Yeah.
Have you traveled outside of the country? I mean, I'm sure you have over the years internationally, and I'm sure you just would eat up the gelato in Italy and what have you?
Italy's definitely on my bucket list. I don't get away a lot from the standpoint. Yeah, I've done Jamaica, Dominican Republic. I've done Mexico, and we did a resort not too long ago in Mexico. It was phenomenal. There was a guy on a bike with an umbrella, and he had mezcal popsicles at the all-inclusive. That's my kind of scene, right? That's fun to me. I'm a big margarita girl. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was so fun.
Well, you mentioned Senor Julian. Their spicy margaritas killer.
I love those men. I swear, I sit at the bar. My husband and I go sit at the bar. He'll make me a margarita. He'll wink at me and go, one and done, right? And that's how strong he made it. And their food is great. Their service is great. I'm big fans of theirs, big supporters. Yeah.
Those guys came on the podcast, I bet it's been a year ago anyway, and what a delightful pair they are. They're so fun, and the food over there is just amazing. And I love tahine. They do that, the chamoy and tahine rims and what have you. Don't you just love that?
I do love that. And just their hospitality with bringing out, is this your first time here? They'll say to friends with us, they'll bring them out warm tortillas with butter pats. I've been there for birthdays, and we have margarita towers and the big hats, and they sing. And, it's just, they're killing it. Those are the kind of people we want to keep and see in Springfield.
I'm about to wrap this up, but don't you agree we are very blessed to live in a place that has some unbelievable food. I mean, we've got this Route 66 Centennial coming up, and I hope that all of the people who come and visit our neck of the woods go out and try some of our local places, because we're really blessed to have great stuff here.
It's absolutely incredible. I've seen a lot of people come and go, but a lot of people have stayed and fought through everything, and really, really lucky. We're actually lucky to be a big part of the Route 66. We're doing a big plate up for that. Vital Farms is they're one of the sponsors of that, and they're amazing. Vital Farms, to have that kind of business in town and shipped nationwide. That's one of my favorite. I never thought in my life I'd say what a great egg that is, but if you've never had a Vital Farm egg, those are phenomenal. And, but yeah, we are super fortunate for the food scene that we have, and I'm just really intrigued to see it, keep watching it and growing. So,
is there anything besides Route 66 coming up that you're getting ready for that's unusual or exciting to you?
We do a lot of stuff for Sight and Sound Theater in Branson. That's a phenomenal one. They're a great organization. They are celebrating their 50th anniversary, so we're doing a big barbecue for 700 out there over the summer in June. Lots and lots of weddings, of course. Got some great corporate events, but definitely Route 66, the next one that we're working on, really unique. And then we're great partners with 417 Magazine, and we do Think Summit for them. So that's another one that's just around the corner for us. So we got a lot of big events coming at us.
I need to get a ticket for that this year. I'm glad you mentioned that. And you have won so many awards through 417 Magazine, and you're kind of, when people think of catering, they think of Patti Wingo and Simply Delicious. They just do. How can people find you if they want to learn more?
Yeah. So we have a website, www.simplydelicious.llc.com. They can just, I think if they just search Catering Springfield Mo, where you should be top, I hope. We've worked really hard for those reviews. And, but yeah, they can always call us too at 417-766-2946.
Patti Wingo, Simply Delicious Catering. Thanks for joining me on Savor the Ozarks.
Thank you for the opportunity. This was great.
Be sure to go to AroundTheOzarks.com to sign up for our daily newsletter, where you can get every episode of Savor the Ozarks, plus all our other podcasts, events, and contests straight to your inbox. And what are your favorite dishes in the 417? You have any restaurants you'd like me to visit? Email me at joy@AroundTheOzarks.com.